Undertaker did an interview about his final farewell from Survivor Series. I'm just going to read out what he said here. He said, "I'd already come to peace with my decision, but it was really real once I put the hat and coat on. Knowing I was putting the hat and coat on for the last time and walking to the ring in that capacity, it was tough. It was probably best I didn't say much more than I did, or I would have killed 30 years of work and turned into a blubbering idiot. It was a tough moment. I'd already come to grips with the fact that I'd gotten everything out of this sponge that you're going to get. But when I put the hat and coat on, things feel different. I might have one more in me. No, that was it." I mean, we've talked about this a lot, Finn, but I mean, it does still feel really weird that The Undertaker's final moment is The Undertaker, not match, but his moment was in the Thunderdome. And you've got to think that when things open back up again and we have crowds again, I mean, do you want to see him have one final moment as the Undertaker, or do you think that that moment at Survivor Series should just be the end and he should never appear as that character again? Has he got everything from that sponge that he feels that he can get?
Well, he says he has. So he's the only one who really can make, well, he's the only one who can make that decision. Not really. He is in charge of that one. I think really he would do himself a disservice if he were to be just another, former great at one of the Legend specials who appears for 10, 15 seconds in some lame angle for a cheap pop. I mean, really, is that going to be worth it? I mean, I do know what you mean about the appearance at the Survivor Series. You think to yourself, well, it should have been more than it was, but that's where we were at that point and still are. Obviously, they're still running Raw and SmackDown in the Thunderdome and will be, I'm sure, for the next few months. So I think he should call it quits now. I think he's accepted that. We didn't really discuss whether or not he would make an appearance at WrestleMania in any great depth because I think we knew that it was over for him. He'd accepted it was over, and I think that statement confirms it. That's my opinion, and I think it's the right decision for him. I don't think he should make any appearances at all on any of these Legend specials in future. I just think it would devalue the mystique of The Undertaker, which in some ways he managed to preserve with that appearance at Survivor Series. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah, I mean, the match that he had with AJ Styles, the Boneyard match, was obviously so amazing that definitely should have been the last match. I just don't know if I were him, if I would have said, okay, I'm going to do that last appearance at Survivor Series in the Thunderdome. I think there's better ways that could have been done. I don't know where. I mean, I know the idea is it's 30 years, it's the 30th anniversary of the debut of the character, but at the same time, it's like, I got this same feeling when I was watching the Hall of Fame, and I know you're writing about it for Inside the Ropes magazine issue 8, which you can pre-order now. But there was something about seeing somebody like Kane come out, and he's so articulate and witty and funny, and he's doing this speech in front of nobody really.
Yeah,
and it just felt sad. And I think the Undertaker things felt sad. So I think he should have waited. He should have waited and said, you know what? I'll do my final farewell at WrestleMania and do it there. And that could have been a big moment that they kind of said, he comes out, he tips the hat at WrestleMania. They knew there was going to be a crowd there in some capacity. It just felt like the Survivor Series. And also, whoever came up with the idea of, let's, it's the end of the greatest character we've ever had. Let's get the Godwins and Savio and Rikishi. Let's just have them come down. And then let's rib Kane and tell him to come in gear. I mean, how can that be the end moment of the most legendary character they've ever had? How did they flub it so bad?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, because it was that 30-year milestone, it was the anniversary, and I think it just felt right for them for him to call it a career there. And if you then prolong it to WrestleMania, it then fuels speculation as to whether or not he has another match. And then I think he also has to realize that he might succumb to that. So there is that sort of, is he going to have a relapse? And is he going to go back on his word and have one more match when he knows he shouldn't? So by having the Survivor Series send off the retirement there, I mean, and I know you could say, well, he left his hat and his attire in the ring after the Roman Reigns match, and we thought it was over then. So, but really, obviously, with the Styles match and then with the Survivor Series thing, that was it. That was final. That was the end. So I think for him as well, it was important just to draw a line on it, line under it, and accept it himself because it's obviously a big thing. It's like going through a breakup or something, isn't it? There's all that emotional baggage attached to it. So for him, it was probably like, no, I just need to get this over with now. I don't want to prolong this anymore. I need to communicate to the world that I am finished, I am through, and that there will be no more matches, and that this is the end. And also, the thing is, you go back to November or probably October when they were talking about this, or they might have even been talking about it earlier than that. At that point, we didn't know when this thing was going to end, this pandemic. And obviously, we're still in restrictions of some sort and maybe for some time to come. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
what do? You can't put these things off forever. You need to make a decision and, get on with your life. You can't wait for, that day when this thing's going to happen because that might be another year off or 18 months off and who knows what might happen in the interim. So I absolutely understand why they did it, and do respect their decisions for making a decision, and moving on with their lives. And that's what we need to do as fans, is just move on, and let it go and accept that it's over. And I think as fans, we have our part to play as well in accepting it, rather than badgering people to have one more match or one more appearance or something like that. I mean, so many wrestlers over the years have succumbed to the calls from the public to make comebacks when they really shouldn't have done.